My husband prioritizes a party over me. My pregnancy is due in 2 weeks.
Oh, no. Is it a birthday party?
My husband's best friend got engaged, and my husband is in the wedding party. He is not the best man, but is doing most of the planning for the bachelor party. In his friend group, they usually do a golf weekend. Also, this is likely the last bachelor party in the group, as the rest of the guys are already married. By the way, this comes from Kiwi222123, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, we have a 2-year-old, and I'm currently pregnant with our second child and due on August 25th. When he started planning the bachelor party, I told him that planning something earlier in the summer would give him a higher chance of going for the full weekend. I originally framed it as not wanting to be stuck watching our toddler by myself for a full weekend in my 3rd trimester while he's out golfing, which was a mistake. I should have framed it as not wanting him to go away for a weekend so close to my due date because he could miss the baby. They finally picked a date for the bachelor party. It's August 8th, so I'll be almost 38 weeks pregnant and considered full term. Technically, I'll be 38 weeks the day he plans to get back, so it's about 2 weeks before my actual due date. The bachelor party will be about 2 hours away without traffic. And on previous golf weekends, he has been terrible about keeping his phone charged, and it can be hard to get in touch with him. Also, while he doesn't drink, he does smoke pot and would likely be smoking the whole weekend. He thinks that as long as he gets someone to watch our toddler while he's gone, it's fine to go for the full weekend, 2 to 3 nights. And this makes me incredibly nervous. I'm willing to compromise and agree to an overnight plus a day of golf. I would also want him to keep his phone on and charged at all times and ask that he stay sober in case I go into labor. He seemed to think this is an unreasonable compromise when I initially brought it up, and since then, he is unwilling to discuss it until they have finalized the plans for the weekend. I'm of the mindset that there are very few times in our marriage where my needs, wants, desires take priority over his, but that this is one of them. Also, yikes.
Yeah.
Reddit. Am I the a-hole for not wanting him to go to a bachelor party for 2 to 3 nights so close to my due date? We got an update. Yeah, I mean, I don't think OP's the a-hole for asking that.
No, not at all. I think your husband is the a-hole.
Yeah, I think he's the a-hole. And also, I hope this moment shines light on the possible imbalance between how you treat your husband and how your husband treats you. Yeah. Onion says, that is pretty bad. Jenny Pearl Gardner says, he sucks.
I would also be really reticent to leave like a pregnant person alone, you know,
to take care of a toddler,
to take care of themselves just in general after like 6 months, honestly. Because there's so many health things that could happen. I wouldn't want, you know.
I would want to be next to my pregnant wife like as much as possible.
Yeah.
Update. I tried to talk to my husband about the bachelor party and specifically asked how they arrived at that weekend. My husband said the only requirement was that every groomsman be able to attend and that he threw out 2 dates, one in July and the one 2 weeks before my due date. The July date didn't work for some of the groomsmen, so he picked the August date. Those were the only 2 weekends discussed, and he apparently picked both. His argument is that if I went into labor when he was at work and happened to be on a long call, it could take him over 2 hours to get home. So why is it not okay to plan a trip that would take him the same distance away? I tried to explain that there's a difference between work, where if he can't get home, it's because someone is seriously injured or something is burning down, and a bachelor party. Also, on the bachelor party, he's probably not going to be sober. He also has a history of not having his phone on. Like, I feel like it's a little different, but I don't know. Maybe I'm off base.
Yeah. Why does he work so far away?
Yeah. 2 hours.
Come on.
Who's working 2 hours away? Are you guys working 2 hours away?
I think you need to move houses.
Yeah. I mean, some people have really long commutes. It's almost like normal in America, I feel like, to have.
Yeah.
Like in Europe, people are like, oh, I have to walk 3 blocks? That's crazy. He doesn't see it that way and just wants to be there for his friend. And in his head, the due date is August 25th, and there's no chance that the baby could possibly come 2 weeks early. We didn't get a chance to discuss duration of the weekend or the possibility of not smoking before the conversation dissolved. He got pissed when I brought up he has a poor track record at keeping in touch during these things, although he was pretty angry throughout the whole conversation. To be honest, another red flag. I tried to remain calm throughout the conversation, but I did cry, and I was the one to walk away first. After work today, I'm getting my son, and we're going to stay with my parents.
Yeah. People who will actually be there when your baby comes.
And there is another update to the story. We have some top comments. What it feels like is this relationship is kind of doomed. Maybe this is too bad.
I think as long as we are on the course that we're on right now with the communication style.
The 9-hole course.
The 9-hole course.
Yep.
Of just poor communication.
Yep.
Last hole, gonna lead to divorce. But
nice.
If we change golf courses.
Yep. And maybe change our approach.
Maybe change
9-iron to
to a
7 club.
A putter.
Yep.
To make small steps.
Yep. Small steps towards the right hole.
The right hole.
Yep.
Then I know very little about golf.
Darth Charizard says, not the a-hole. I get that it's a big ask, but his best friend is getting married and he's only going to be 2 hours away. I think that as long as he keeps his phone charged and he stays sober enough to drive, it's not unreasonable that he wants to attend this event he planned. But I also get why you're nervous. Can you tentatively plan to attend and check in with your doctor to see how likely it is you're going to go into labor closer to the actual date? And we do have, again, more comments kind of refuting this. Melly AK says, doctors can guess, but are frequently wrong. Lots of women are told they'll have their baby any day now at 36 weeks and go overdue, or told there's no way the baby is coming yet and going to labor within a week. 2 hours away is unlikely to be a huge deal, but if he's drinking and has to sober up first, or if she has a precipitous labor, he could miss the birth entirely. Second babies often come faster too. Personally, I wouldn't be willing to risk that. And there is a verdict and an update. So the bachelor party was this weekend. My husband and I ultimately decided to wait until the doctor's appointment the week before the party to make a decision. If she said baby is coming any day now, he was going to go for the day. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law volunteered to watch the son for the weekend. So the son is being watched. And it turns out that my parents are moving and wound up moving to an apartment that is 5 minutes from our house. So they would be around in case I happen to go into labor. So it seems like the...
Very cool and slay.
Mm-hmm. The OB said she didn't think the baby would come this weekend. So we decided that my husband would go to the bachelor party for 2 nights.
2 nights?
With the stipulation that he remain sober and be ready to leave at a moment's notice.
Man's going for 2 nights.
Also, dude, like... just for your own happiness, would you not want to plan the bachelor party earlier?
Yeah, OP has a new baby, like going to the bachelor party.
Earlier?
Yeah, earlier.
So you could like actually enjoy the bachelor party?
Exactly, so you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. My husband told his friends that he would be up on Friday. We were all set. And then on Wednesday, all heck broke loose. Our son got a rash on his hands and feet. And it turns out that someone at daycare had come down with hand, foot, and mouth disease. He wasn't showing any other symptoms, so we weren't sure if he actually had it or was just a random rash. We decided to see how he was on Thursday. If he had a fever, I was going to get a hotel because if I came down with it, I could pass it on to the baby. And my husband was going to have to stay home. Our son woke up fever-free on Thursday morning, so we were all set. Then on Thursday night, my mom went to the ER with stomach pains. Turns out she was going to need surgery. My husband was supposed to leave at 6 a.m. on Friday, but I asked him to wait until we got an update on my mom. When I called her on Friday morning, apparently she was feeling better, so the doctor told her that she might be able to go home and schedule the surgery for a later date. I gave my husband the go-ahead to leave for the bachelor party.
Sorry. Your child gets hand, foot, mouth disease. Your mother-in-law gets freaking surgery
or almost
and you don't take that as a sign from the universe that maybe you should stay home?
Honestly, like that feels like a sign.
2 back-to-back like crazy
that feels like a
illnesses.
Sign.
I'd be like, I'm not leaving this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the boys that I don't need a golf.
Except then the doctor changed his mind and decided the surgery couldn't wait. My mom spent the weekend in the hospital waiting for a surgeon to be available. She finally was able to have surgery on Sunday morning. In the meantime, I lined up a few friends just in case I happened to go into labor. My dad was also around, but had his hands full dealing with my mom and the move. So this weekend was stressful, and it felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But at least the baby stayed put. My husband got to go to 2 of the 3 nights of the bachelor party, and my mom's surgery went well, and our son never actually got sick. And my husband was a lot more responsive to text than he normally is because of the situation with my mom. I'm glad that my husband is home and that this weekend is finally over. We have some top comments, and we have an update.
Dang, man.
I think we got through this weekend semi-unscathed, but like, I still think there is an issue.
Well, there's a communication issue that hasn't been
fully resolved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, we lucked out of it in terms of what events occurred over the weekend, but not actually, like, addressing the issue.
Root issues have not been addressed. Yeah, completely agree.
It's like you're like supposed to have a marathon on the weekend and then you break your foot 2 days before, but then the marathon gets pushed like 4 months later.
Yeah. Resplenduit says, I nearly got a panic attack reading this. It was extremely irresponsible of your husband to leave once potential hand, foot, mouth, and your mother's surgery was in the picture. He shouldn't even ask you because that puts pressure on you to not be the witch. This could easily have gone a lot worse and you just lucked out. I was a preemie from my mother stressing out. I've had really bad hand, foot, mouth as an adult. And when I gave birth myself, it went from low risk to life-threatening pretty fast. And 2 hours would definitely have made a big difference. He's a father, and that means he's got to be there for you, his son, and his new baby to be. A multi-day bachelor party can't be a priority. It doesn't matter if you have family and friends. It's his child. I feel like you only got not the a-hole because Reddit skews young enough and male enough that they don't quite internalize all the emotional labor that men pass to women and how optional men find putting in the time to be a father. Would they think it's reasonable if at 1 week postpartum you decide to leave baby behind and party it up with your friends? After all, there's front airbag pumps and formula so other people can theoretically do the newborn parenting. He owes you like all the 4 a.m. feedings at this point to make it up. And ostentatiously says, can you imagine if she had gone into birth? OP, it's just me today. OP, it's just me today. Doc, you have someone you can call, your mom, she's in emergency surgery. Doc, your dad, he's taking care of her. Doc, any friends? Well, they're caring for my son who has hand, foot, mouth disease. Doc, where's your husband again? He really wanted 2 nights with his boys.
With the boys.
Glad it worked out, but I hope this man grows up and we have an update. Wow, I really wasn't expecting this to blow up like this. My husband and I were looking at the weekend with a sense of humor, as in, what else could go wrong? He's a great husband and father and very helpful around the house. I understand that he wanted a last hurrah with the boys before the baby comes, and I thought we did pretty well coming up with a compromise that was as stress-free as possible for everyone involved. Unfortunately, the best laid plans and all that crap, we're both just glad he was able to have a great time with his friends. No one got hand, foot, mouth. My mom is okay, and he didn't miss the baby being born.
But you know who didn't get to have a fun little weekend getaway? You. Because you can't get away from the baby. This is a Malcolm in the Middle episode, not a Full House episode. No issues were resolved at the end of the day, but there were many problems.
There were many problems, exactly.